what is technical recruitment? I was about to say that before we go into looking about definitions and all that, I totally understand that the word recruitment is not strange to us. Like I said, most of us here are HR professionals. So the word recruitment is not strange to us. The concept recruitment is not strange to us. Now, the only difference here is that it's a specialized kind of recruitment. It's a specialized kind of recruitment. So you have technical recruitment. So ideally, just by what the name says, it means that it is a recruitment for technical staff, right? It is technical staffing, recruitment for IT staff, right? So it's not something that we should make it look like, hey, a metaphysics. So technical recruitment is the process of finding, hiring personnel with specialized skills, right? Knowledge, in order to fill a technical role, right? This involves sourcing, assessing, interviewing potential candidates, and ultimately selecting the best fit for the roles you have in the technical ecosystem. So these roles can include software developers, right? You have the front end, the back end, you have DevOps engineers, and all the likes. It can also include data scientists, data engineers, data analysts, business intelligence analysts, and all the likes. It can also include IT support staff, right? You have a lot of them. It can also include network engineers, right? Especially those that work in the network ecosystem like SpectraNet and all these other companies, right? So you do a lot with network engineers. So we also work on roles like product managers, cybersecurity professionals, and many more, right? This is just for us to mention a few, many more. Tia, please, you want to help me by admitting people. I think at the end of the day, I'm the one to look into that so that I could just concentrate on the slides.
Apologies, please concentrate. We'll do that. We'll bring in more admin now.
Okay. Yeah, great. So, in a technology-driven organization, right, technical recruitment is very, very critical, right? Because if you get it wrong in that aspect, a lot of things can be affected. Now, I don't want to make this, like I said earlier, I don't want to make this look totally different from the other industry, right? But I mentioned earlier that there are peculiarity around this. So I also want to relate it to other industries. For example, there was a time in my career where I worked around healthcare recruitment. You also need to understand that that was also a very critical recruitment. You don't just employ any kind of hands. People must be very good, because imagine in the healthcare, a wrong hiring, a bad hiring can lead to death, right? At the other end. So the same way with technical recruitment is a recruitment process where a lot of attention to details need to be put in place, because any bad hire has a lot of effect on production, right? A lot of effect on production, slows down a lot of things around business and efficiency. So this is to show you how critical and important technical recruitment is in the tech industry and the tech ecosystem. So it's just for us to understand and knowing the skill set of a technical recruiter. So like I said, I want to try as much as possible to keep our chat within 60 minutes so that we could have a lot of time to ask to answer questions and all the like. So just for us to understand and knowing the skill set of a technical recruiter, it is important for us to understand that, yes, like I said, it is a very peculiar aspect of HR. So it has peculiarity in its skill sets. Now, these skill sets can really work for anybody in the recruitment industry, be it technical or non-technical recruitment. It can work for you. But yeah, like we said, it is peculiar for this particular industry. You definitely want to look through, and hopefully, if there is any of this area that you need to develop yourself the more, why not? I want us to also look into that, because that's the essence of this session. So what are these technical skill set for technical recruiters? So what I did was I tried as much as possible to separate them. I made it in two phases. So one, will be looking at technical skill set for technical recruiters. Then secondly, we'll be looking at soft skill sets, right? Soft skill sets for technical recruiters. You may call them social skill set as well. So for now, we'll be looking at technical skill set. And first in our decks is technical knowledge, right? So one of the most important things we need to understand about technical recruitment and the skills you need to fine-tune for yourself if you're looking to go into technical recruitment, right? is that you need to look into developing yourself around technical knowledge, right? You don't just go into technical recruitment just only with your recruitment knowledge. You need to also develop yourself around the technical space, the technical intricacies of the industry that you are going into. You need to understand, oh, what are the functions of a back-end engineer, a front-end engineer? What are the various languages? Why are they different languages? What are the advantages and the strength of some of the languages? Now, you don't necessarily need to know how to code. It's not necessary. You don't necessarily need to know how to write this code or read this code, but just I would say knowledge, right? Theoretical knowledge around these things and why this thing work for this project and why this will not work for this project is totally important. It's very, very important. And while we go ahead, I will give you reasons why it is important, but I will just mention one of the things to know why it is important. The reason why it is important for you to carry this knowledge is because I faced this when I first break into the technical recruitment space, right? Where I'll need to speak with senior, especially those at the senior level, senior engineers. I'm trying to hire them. You know, one thing I know they do very well is they try to rate your, they will try to put you on a scale. And what they do is they will ask you certain questions and see how you respond to those questions. And when they realize that you are fidgeting or you really don't have a lot of confidence around what you are saying, you get most of them not really take you serious around the process, and some of them just pulling off from the process, right? So you definitely don't want to put yourself in that space where if you are speaking about a particular concept, about a particular language, why you guys need to hire this language, why you guys are making use of this framework or not, and you really don't have, now, like I said, you don't necessarily need to know how to code. That's not your essence, right? The essence is just to have some of the theoretical knowledge of this language and this language. This language, what are the framework that work with this language, so that it helps you to, even while you have these discussions with the candidate, at least they see you at a level where they can really have discussions with you and you guys will really flow together. Now, most of the time, like I said, when I started out, I had some lapses in this area, but I had to really develop myself in this area that most of the time, if I have discussion with some of them, they come back to ask me that, do I used to code before moving into HR? But it is important that you have this knowledge, because what it helps you do is that it makes you, when you're having discussion with the candidate has a feel that, okay, yes, this person is really speaking my language. This person is really using those languages, those words, those terms, right, that we use in our own ecosystem. So it's very important. You definitely want to build your technical knowledge. Now, the technical knowledge is not only around the languages, the frameworks they use for their job, but it's also around the industry, the technical the tech industry, right, as a whole. It is good for you to have a grips of them, right? For example, if you're a technical recruiter in a fintech, it is great that you have a knowledge around this, because most of the time, one thing I've got to understand about recruitment in the tech space is that apart from just skills and experience, a lot is being done around experience in the niche or the industry in which you are working. So if you're working in the fintech, a lot of your hiring will be around hiring people that work in that niche, in that fintech space, right? So if you're working maybe a technical recruiter in an e-commerce niche, right, in the tech space, a lot of your recruitment will be around getting candidates in that space as well. Now, I'm not saying that people cannot really function in all a tech talent cannot really function in all these industries, right? But what I'm saying is that a lot of your recruitment will definitely want to align with those industries. So it's important that while you build your technical knowledge around the languages and the framework, getting to know them and what they are used for. For example, if you are speaking about front end, what are the languages and framework that a front end developer use? So sometimes you want to know all these things. Is very important, because sometimes just hearing the language and the framework, you already know if it's a front end or a back end person. So you don't want to speak with candidate and you're acting ignorant. Secondly, the industry, knowledge around the industry, which I just explained, is very important because it will help you a long way, even in getting talent and all that. I remember sometimes if there are some certain roles that I probably want to headhunt or source for, I necessarily will not go around beating myself. I just know the companies I'm going to look for candidates for. I already know the industry I'm going to. I already know that, okay, I have a list of 5. Okay, these are my best bet. This is where I can get people that use this particular language. I already know in the tech space, to an extent, I know certain companies that make use of certain languages that my own tech space needs. So I would definitely don't want to bother myself sourcing for candidates all around. I just go to these industries or to this search to help my search to make me get the right people for those languages, right? So the knowledge around the skill set for this tech guy is very important. That is the language, the framework, and all the likes. The knowledge around the industry, very important as well. Now, sourcing skills. Now, this is another technical skills you really want to build, because when it has to do with sourcing and technical recruitment, it is you will apply a lot of flexibility, right? A lot of flexibility. I still repeat. So it's not just a one-way thing. It's not just a LinkedIn thing. Is a thing that you need to grow a lot of experience around sourcing. Yes, LinkedIn still happens to be like one of the very important space where we still carry out our sourcing, but you definitely don't want to rely all on LinkedIn, because sometimes you really will not get what you are looking for, when there are several spaces in which you can get technical talent, a lot of them, depending on the role you are looking for. I'll give you some of the examples. For example, if I'm looking for a design guy, say a product designer, UI UX guy, I probably want to go to LinkedIn. That's fine, but it will do me a lot of good for me to go to design portfolio hosting platforms. It makes it easy for me. For example, Behance. I want to go to Dribble. I want to do sourcing around those ends, right? It makes it easy for me to see people, not just seeing meeting talents there, but already I'm seeing their portfolios, their work, and all that stuff. So make my decisions quickly. Meanwhile, like I said, sourcing skill is very important skill you want to really harness as a technical recruiter, because there are a lot of flexibility around it, a lot of stuff that you need to do, a lot of processes, a lot of different platforms that you want to take advantage of. I just mentioned a few. You have the LinkedIn, you have the Google X-ray search that you probably want to apply in your search. You have even down to platforms, right? Twitter. It was not until I moved into technical recruitment that I knew that Twitter is also a sourcing space, right? I've used Twitter to source for talent, not just posting jobs, but actually sourcing for talent, like doing proper source searching on Twitter to get talent. I've done that, and yeah, it also gives you result as well. So you want to really take advantage of all these platforms and really harness your sourcing skill to really help you succeed in technical recruitment. So another skill that you definitely want to harness is data skills. Now, at least I used to tell people a lot, when it comes to HR, for now, the now of HR, it has a lot to do with data. So you want to say in the technical recruitment space, right? For me, technical recruitment is not a spontaneous action. It's not this action where, hiring manager said, Daniel, we need to hire a front-end engineer, and you just jump into the market and start sourcing for front-end engineer. No. Technical recruitment is a very strategic role. Like, it's a very strategic role. So you definitely want to deal with data. You definitely want to analyze data so that you don't waste your time sourcing why the companies need you to close the role as fast as possible. And what will data do for you? Data will help you get the right candidate fast as possible. So you need to develop your data skills. You need to look around data, because most of the time in technical recruitment, there are a lot of stuff that you face in the market, and you definitely want to come back to your hiring managers, to your leads in the office, to explain to them that this is why some of these roles you are facing difficulty in closing this role, because of maybe you have a very genuine reasons, right, why difficulty is there closing some of these roles. But you will not want to communicate these things using just words, right? You definitely want to put your data, and you are showing your hiring manager or whoever in the office to say that, okay, because of these reasons, it is difficult for us to get this. So for example, I'll give an example. I faced one of the main reasons, or one of the greatest challenge I faced in technical recruitment, right, is the issue of working on site and working remotely, right? Is a very big issue, working on site and working remotely. You know that the talent you are dealing with are talent that really want to work remotely. They don't want to come to the office. They believe that they can do their job wherever they are. And that's right. That's fine. That's totally understandable. Now, happens when you work in a space where they promote more of on-site or hybrid, right? Now, you don't just necessarily come to them to say that, oh, the reason why I'm not able to close this role is because people are not accepting to come to the office, so I'm facing difficulty. No, you definitely want to take a data to them to show them that, oh, I spoke to maybe 50 candidates, and this is their response. This is their reasons. This is this. So data and skill is something that we really want to build as a technical recruiter. It will help you a lot from your sourcing and all the likes. As we go further, I will also say a little bit around this data aspect. Now, I want to let you know that another very important technical skill you want to harness as a technical recruiter is marketing and sales skills. Now, I've been preaching this thing like from day one. Marketing and sales skill has no difference to do with a recruiter. So please know today that as a recruiter, you are also a marketer to your company. You are also a salesperson to your company. Do you know why? Because why your marketers and the salespeople go out there to poach the company, to speak about the company in order to bring clients, customers, be it whatever, to sell the product. You yourself, you are going out there to also speak about the company in order to bring in good talent, great talent, effective talent for the business. So at the end of the day, the two teams, both the marketing team and the recruitment team, you guys are also almost pushing the same ideology, but just in I am targeting different audience, but you are definitely pushing the same ideology. So definitely you want to grow your marketing skills and your sales skills. Now, for me, whenever I go to the office, I always like to sit with my marketing team. I have a reason for that. I always sit with them. I always go where they sit and I just sit with them. We have our chat. So I easily ask them questions around, how the language they use to put the business out there and the product out there, so that I can adopt some of this language. I can adopt some of these content, even when I'm trying to put content out there for candidates to see reasons why they should join us. Now, it is a very, very important skill that we definitely want to get, a marketing and a sales skill, because you are also a marketer. You are bringing talent into the company by selling the company to this talent. Now, negotiating skills. Now, negotiating skill is a very, very important skill as well. Now, there are several technical skills, but I've decided to pick these top 5 because to me, these are the top most important 5 skills technically that you need to adopt as a technical recruiter. Negotiating skills. Now, how will negotiating skills help you? Let me tell you the truth. Before, I used to make this statement that tech guys are very proud. Not necessarily because they are proud. They are not proud. No, that's a joke anyway. Because you are dealing with people that they know